Welcome back to the channel. Pocket Change Coins. Today, we have a real treat for you all, an in-depth look at a coin that has fascinated collectors for decades, the United States wheat penny from 1949. If you're a fan of coin collecting, you know how valuable certain coins can become over time. But did you know that a 1949 wheat penny could be worth much more than its face value? Stick around as we dive into the fascinating details of this coin and explore just how much it could fetch in today's market. First off, let's take a moment to appreciate the wheat penny itself. The wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln wheat cent, was produced by the United States Mint from 1909 to 1958, and it's one of the most beloved coins in American numismatics. It features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, which was designed by the talented engraver Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's likeness, along with the deep symbolism of the time, makes this coin a piece of history that collectors are drawn to. On the reverse of the 1949 wheat penny, we see two sheaves of wheat, which is why it's commonly referred to as the wheat cent. This reverse design was used throughout much of the series and is a nod to the agricultural roots of the United States, reflecting the nation's strong ties to farming and growth. At the bottom of the coin, you'll find the inscription E pluribus unum, which translates to out of many, one, a phrase that has become synonymous with the unity of the country. The overall design of the wheat penny is simple yet powerful, and it's no wonder that this coin remains a favorite among collectors today. Now, when we talk about the 1949 wheat penny, we need to keep in mind that the coin was minted during a very interesting period in U.S. history. The country was just a few years removed from World War II, and the economy was in the process of transitioning back to peacetime production. As a result, 1949 wasn't the most memorable year in terms of major events, but it was a year that left its mark on the coin world. The mintage of the 1949 wheat penny was not particularly high compared to some other years in the series, which is why certain versions of this coin are highly sought after by collectors today. If you're wondering what makes the 1949 wheat penny special, the answer lies in its rarity and the condition of the coins that still exist today. As with all coins, the condition plays a huge role in determining value. Coins that have been in circulation for decades inevitably show signs of wear and tear, which can drastically lower their value. However, certain 1949 wheat pennies, particularly those in mint or near-mint condition, are much rarer and much more valuable to collectors. These coins have survived the test of time and, as a result, can fetch impressive sums at auction. One of the key factors that collectors look for when evaluating a 1949 wheat penny is the mint mark. For the 1949 issue, the mint marks are especially important because they can significantly influence the coin's value. The three mints that produced coins during this period were located in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and each one has a distinct mint mark on the coin. For example, a 1949 wheat penny with a D mint mark was minted in Denver, while a S mint mark indicates that the coin was minted in San Francisco. The Philadelphia minted coins, which do not have a mint mark, are also of interest to collectors. Some 1949 wheat pennies, particularly those with certain mint marks, are considered to be rarer than others. For example, the 1949 S wheat penny is a much harder find compared to the 1949 D or 1949 no mint mark versions. This rarity is one of the key reasons why this coin is so desirable in the collector's market. If you happen to find a 1949 S wheat penny in excellent condition, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth much more than you ever imagined. But what's really exciting is how much a rare, well-preserved 1949 wheat penny can be worth. While many of these coins are worth just a few cents or a couple of dollars in average condition, those in exceptional, uncirculated condition can command a much higher price. For example, if you have a 1949 wheat penny that has been well preserved with sharp details, little wear, and a strong strike, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Some rare, high-quality examples of the 1949 wheat penny have been known to sell for up to $86,000, that's right, $86,000. For a coin that originally had a face value of just 1 cent, that's a pretty incredible increase. What makes the 1949 wheat penny even more interesting is that it's still within reach for many collectors. Unlike some ultra-rare coins that are out of most people's budgets, a 1949 wheat penny in great condition can still be found by diligent collectors who know where to look. Whether it's at a coin show, through online auctions, or even in a roll of loose change, it's possible to find a valuable example of this coin that could be worth a small fortune. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a 1949 wheat penny that might be worth this kind of money, it's crucial to have it properly graded and appraised by a professional. Coins that are in mint or near mint condition are often submitted to professional grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, to get an official grade. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes, and these services can give you a clearer idea of exactly how much your coin could be worth on the open market. So, how can you tell if your 1949 wheat penny is one of the lucky few that's worth $86,000? Start by examining the condition closely. Look for any signs of wear, such as flat spots, worn-out details, or discoloration. If your coin still has a sharp strike, bright luster, and clear details on both the obverse and reverse, it could be a great candidate for professional grading. Be sure to also check the mint mark, as the minting location can significantly affect the coin's value. And if you happen to have a 1949 S or other rarer version, you might be sitting on a true treasure. In conclusion, the 1949 wheat penny is a remarkable coin that holds both historical and financial value. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or a beginner, this coin is one to keep an eye out for. If you're lucky enough to find one in excellent condition, it could be worth as much as $86,000. It's incredible to think that a coin with a simple design and humble beginnings could have such a high market value today, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's all about finding those hidden gems that tell the story of our nation's history. Today, in this video, we're going to take a deep dive into one of the most famous and sought-after coins in American history, the 1944 wheat penny. This little coin, with its iconic design and fascinating backstory, holds significant value for collectors, and in some cases, it can be worth an unbelievable amount of money. So, grab a seat and let's explore why the 1944 wheat penny is a true treasure in the world of numismatics. To start, let's go over a bit of background on this coin. The wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, has a rich history in the United States. First minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the design has evolved, but it has always been a symbol of American resilience and history. The 1944 wheat penny, however, stands out among the rest for a few important reasons. During the year 1944, the United States was fully involved in World War II. It was a time of great upheaval, and the nation's resources were heavily focused on supporting the war effort. That year, the U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies to keep up with the demand for currency. However, because of the war, the U.S. was facing a shortage of copper, which was a critical material used in the coin's production. In response to this shortage, the U.S. Mint decided to use a different metal, steel, for the production of the 1943 penny. But by 1944, the Mint returned to using copper to make the coins. It was during this brief period of transition that the 1944 wheat penny was minted. What makes the 1944 wheat penny so unique is that it's one of the last pennies to feature the iconic reverse design, showing two stalks of wheat on either side of the coin. In 1959, the design was changed to the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which is still in use today. So, if you're looking at a 1944 wheat penny, you're holding onto a piece of American coinage history that was produced at a time of great change. But that's not all that makes this coin special for collectors. The value of the 1944 wheat penny is primarily determined by the coin's condition and its mint mark. As with most coins, a 1944 penny in better condition is worth more than one that has seen a lot of wear and tear. However, some versions of the 1944 wheat penny are even more valuable than others, especially if they were produced at one of the U.S. Mint's branch mints. The 1944 wheat penny was minted in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mint mark can be found just below the date on the obverse side of the coin, and this mint mark plays a big role in determining its value. The coins minted in Philadelphia did not feature a mint mark, while the ones minted in Denver have a D mint mark, and those from San Francisco have an S mint mark. Out of the three, the San Francisco Mint produced the fewest coins, which means that 1944's wheat pennies tend to be the rarest and most valuable, but it's not just the mint marks that determine the worth of a 1944 wheat penny. Condition is crucial, and this is where things get really interesting. While many of the 1944 wheat pennies that were circulated in everyday transactions show significant signs of wear, those that were kept in excellent condition have become highly prized among collectors. Coins that are in brilliant uncirculated condition are often sent to professional grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These organizations assign a grade to the coin based on its appearance and quality, which can greatly affect the value. A 1944 wheat penny with a high grade can fetch an impressive price. While most 1944 wheat pennies are valued at just a few cents or a couple of dollars in average condition, those that are in mint condition can be worth much, much more. It's not unheard of for some rarer versions, especially the 1944's pennies in high-grade condition, to command a price in the tens of thousands of dollars, and here's the most exciting part: there is one rare variety of the 1944 wheat penny that has made headlines in the numismatic world and is worth a jaw-dropping amount of money. This particular penny, known as the 1944 steel wheat penny, is an extremely rare error coin. Due to a mix-up at the mint, a small number of 1944 wheat pennies were mistakenly struck on steel planchets, left over from the 1943 steel pennies. This error makes the coin highly collectible and incredibly valuable. In fact, one of these rare 1944 steel pennies sold for around $1 million at auction. But even if you don't have the extremely rare steel variety, the 1944 wheat penny can still be quite valuable. Depending on the condition and mint mark, certain examples of this coin can sell for $80,000 or even more. That's right, $80,000 for a single penny. This just goes to show how important it is to pay attention to the details when collecting coins. For those of you who are lucky enough to own a 1944 wheat penny, it's important to carefully examine the coin for any signs of wear, especially around the wheat stalks and Lincoln's portrait. If the coin is in excellent condition, it might be worth sending it off for grading. Professional grading can ensure that your coin is valued correctly and can even increase its market value. So, how can you tell if your 1944 wheat penny is one of those rare, high-value coins? Start by checking the mint mark. If you have a 1944's wheat penny, that's a great place to start. Then, take a close look at the coin's overall condition. A penny that's been stored properly and shows little to no wear could be worth much more than its face value. If you find one of these exceptional examples, it could be worth as much as $80,000. In conclusion, the 1944 wheat penny is not just another piece of pocket change, it's a coin that represents a unique moment in American history. Whether it's the last of the iconic wheat reverse design or the rare 1944's variety, this coin has proven to be one of the most valuable and collectible pennies in existence. So, if you're a coin collector or just someone interested in learning more about the world of numismatics, make sure to keep an eye out for these pennies. Who knows, you could be holding onto a small piece of history that's worth a fortune. Today, we're diving into the world of one of the most iconic and widely collected coins in American history, the 1957 wheat penny. While most pennies are considered common and relatively low in value, there's something truly special about certain years and varieties of these small coins, and the 1957 wheat penny is no exception. In this video, we'll explore what makes this particular penny stand out, why it's such a valuable treasure for collectors, and just how much it could be worth if you find the right one in your collection. Stick around, because the value of this coin might surprise you. To start, let's talk a bit about the history of the wheat penny itself. The Lincoln wheat penny, first minted in 1909, was designed by Victor David Brenner and featured the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the famous 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse. The wheat penny design was used until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse design. But what makes the 1957 wheat penny such an interesting coin is that it was one of the last years of the wheat design before the changeover occurred. By the time 1957 came around, the US had been using this iconic design for nearly 50 years. So, finding a 1957 wheat penny in your collection or in circulation today means you're holding a piece of history from the final years of one of America's most enduring coin designs. But that's just the beginning. There's much more to this coin than meets the eye. When you think about the 1957 wheat penny, you might imagine it as just another old penny that's worth only a few cents. And for the most part, that's true for many of the coins produced that year. However, the value of a coin can vary significantly depending on a variety of factors. The first and most important factor to consider is the condition of the coin. Like most collectibles, the value of a 1957 wheat penny is largely influenced by its grade. The better the condition, the higher the value. If you've ever come across a 1957 wheat penny in excellent condition, unblemished, with sharp details, and no signs of wear, then you may have found a real gem. Coins that are in mint state or brilliant uncirculated condition can fetch much higher prices than those that have been in circulation for years. In fact, pennies that have been preserved in such pristine conditions are highly sought after by collectors, and they're often the most valuable, but it's not just the condition that makes a 1957 wheat penny valuable. The mint mark is another crucial factor in determining a coin's worth. The 1957 wheat penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can find the mint mark just below the date on the obverse side of the coin. If there's no mint mark, that means it was produced in Philadelphia. If you see a D, that indicates it was minted in Denver, and an S means it was minted in San Francisco. Interestingly, the 1957 S wheat penny, or those produced in San Francisco, tends to be the rarest and most sought-after version of the 1957 pennies. This is due to the fact that the San Francisco Mint produced fewer of these coins, which makes them more scarce compared to the ones from Philadelphia or Denver. As a result, the 1957 S penny in high-grade condition is often worth more than its Philadelphia and Denver counterparts. Now, you might be wondering what kind of prices these coins can fetch. In general, 1957 wheat pennies in average circulated condition are typically worth only a few cents, but when you start talking about high-quality examples, the value can rise dramatically. The 1957 S wheat penny, in particular, is one of the most valuable in this series. And the higher the grade of the coin, the more it could be worth. While many 1957 wheat pennies are worth a few dollars at most, some of the rarer varieties, especially those in exceptional condition or those with specific errors, can be worth a lot more. But let's take things to the next level. Have you ever heard of the 1957 proof coin? Proof coins are specially minted for collectors and are produced in limited quantities with a high level of detail and finish. A 1957 proof penny in perfect condition can be valued in the thousands, depending on its grade and rarity. It's also important to mention that certain rare errors or varieties in the 1957 wheat penny series can boost its value even further. Error coins occur when there is a mistake made during the minting process, and they are some of the most exciting finds for collectors. For instance, a 1957 penny with an overdate, where the year is struck over another year, could be a rare and valuable error. Or, if a 1957 wheat penny was struck on an incorrect planchet or has any unusual characteristics, these kinds of anomalies can turn a seemingly ordinary penny into a high-priced collectible. So, how much could a 1957 wheat penny be worth? Well, as we've discussed, if the coin is in great condition, especially if it's a 1957 S version with little to no wear, its value could be impressive. But for those of you who have found a 1957 wheat penny that has been preserved in excellent condition and happens to be a rare error variety, you're in for a real treat. The value of such a coin could be as high as $89,000. Yes, you heard that right, $89,000 for a single penny. This is the kind of value that can make even the most experienced collectors do a double take. So, if you happen to stumble upon a 1957 wheat penny that's in pristine condition, with a mint mark from San Francisco or an unusual error, it's time to take a closer look at in conclusion. The 1957 wheat penny is much more than just a common piece of pocket change. It's a coin that holds great historical significance, a coin that marks the end of an era in American coinage. And for collectors, it can be a true treasure. Whether it's in excellent condition, has a rare mint mark, or features an unusual error, the 1957 wheat penny is one of those coins that can hold incredible value. So, always keep your eyes peeled when checking through your change. Your next find could be worth a small fortune. Today, we're diving deep into a penny that, at first glance, might seem just like any other, the 1953 wheat penny. But don't be fooled. This little piece of history holds more value than you might expect, and if you've got one lying around, you could be holding a treasure worth thousands. So, grab your magnifying glass, sit tight, and let's explore the fascinating world of the 1953 wheat penny and why it's become such a sought-after coin among collectors. Before we dive into its value, let's take a step back and look at the history of the wheat penny itself. The wheat penny, which was minted from 1909 to 1958, features the famous design of two stalks of wheat on the reverse side. This iconic design was created by Victor David Brenner and was a symbol of prosperity during the early 20th century. The obverse side features the profile of none other than Abraham Lincoln, one of the most beloved presidents in U.S. history. These coins were made to commemorate Lincoln's centennial, and their popularity has only grown since. Now, let's fast forward to the year 1953. This was the final decade of the wheat penny design before it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. By 1953, the U.S. Mint had been producing these coins for decades, and the design had become synonymous with American coinage. So, what makes the 1953 wheat penny stand out in the crowd of pennies that were minted before and after it? Well, it all comes down to the factors that affect the value of a coin: its condition, rarity, and any unique features or varieties. First things first, let's talk about the condition of the coin. Like any collectible, the value of a 1953 wheat penny can vary greatly depending on how well it's been preserved. If you find a 1953 wheat penny that is in pristine, uncirculated condition with no noticeable wear, scratches, or discoloration, then congratulations, you've got a real find on your hands. The better the condition of the coin, the higher its value. Coins that are in mint state or brilliant uncirculated condition can fetch significantly more than those that have seen years of circulation, but that's not all. The mint mark on a coin can play a huge role in determining its rarity and value. The 1953 wheat penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mint mark, which appears just below the date on the obverse side of the coin, indicates where the coin was produced. If you have a 1953 penny with no mint mark, that means it was struck in Philadelphia. A D indicates the coin was minted in Denver, and an S marks it as having been struck in San Francisco. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The 1953 S wheat penny, minted in San Francisco, tends to be more valuable than its Philadelphia and Denver counterparts. Why? Well, the San Francisco Mint produced fewer of these pennies, making them rarer and more sought after by collectors. If you've got a 1953 S wheat penny in high-quality condition, then you found a coin that could be worth a small fortune, but there's more to the story than just mint marks. When it comes to valuable coins, errors are a collector's dream. An error coin is one that was produced with a mistake during the minting process. These errors are often unique, and they can make a seemingly ordinary penny worth thousands of dollars. For example, a 1953 wheat penny with a double die error, where the design appears to be doubled or shifted, could drastically increase its value. Or perhaps a coin that was struck off-center or has a significant die crack could also be worth more than you might expect. So, let's cut to the chase. How much is a 1953 wheat penny worth? The answer depends on its condition, rarity, and whether it has any unique errors or varieties. For the most part, a typical 1953 wheat penny in average circulated condition is worth just a few cents. However, the value of a 1953 wheat penny can skyrocket if it's in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially if it's a 1953s with a rare mint mark or a coin with an unusual error. The true value of this coin is undeniable. If you happen to have a 1953 wheat penny that's in mint condition or has an error, you could be looking at a coin worth $79,000. Yes, that's right, $79,000 for a single penny. This is the kind of money that can turn a simple coin into a life-changing treasure. So, the next time you come across a 1953 wheat penny in your collection or while sifting through your change, take a moment to examine it closely. Is it in great condition? Does it have a rare mint mark or perhaps an error that could make it even more valuable? It might just be worth a small fortune. In conclusion, the 1953 wheat penny may seem like a simple coin, but it's much more than that. It's a piece of American history, a collector's dream, and in certain conditions, a valuable investment. Whether it's the rarity of the 1953s, the pristine quality of an uncirculated penny, or the excitement of a potential error, this coin has the potential to be worth much more than you might expect. Today we're diving into an iconic piece of American history, the 1945 wheat penny. You might be wondering, what makes this penny so special? Well, you're in for a treat, because this seemingly humble coin has a lot more to offer than meets the eye. If you're a fan of coin collecting or just curious about the hidden treasures in your pocket change, you're going to want to pay close attention. Let's break down the history, rarity, and value of the 1945 wheat penny and why it might just be worth far more than its face value. Now, let's start by going back in time. The wheat penny was first introduced in 1909, and it remained in circulation for nearly half a century. The design on the reverse side of the coin, featuring two stalks of wheat, is what gives the coin its famous name. Created by Victor David Brenner, the wheat stalks symbolized the nation's prosperity in agriculture. For nearly 50 years, these pennies were a staple in everyday life, from the early 20th century right up to 1958 when they were replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. The wheat penny is beloved among collectors, and every year in the series has its own unique story to tell. So why does the 1945 wheat penny stand out among the others? 1945 was a significant year for the United States, coming just after the end of World War II. The country was in the midst of transitioning back to a peacetime economy, and this shift had an impact on the minting of coins. During wartime, copper was in high demand for military purposes, which meant that the U.S. Mint had to get creative in order to continue producing coins. In fact, during the war years, the Mint switched to using steel pennies, and it wasn't until 1944 that the U.S. Mint returned to producing copper pennies. The 1945 penny is one of the first copper pennies produced after the war, making it historically significant to collectors. Now, when it comes to the value of your 1945 wheat penny, a few key factors will determine just how much it's worth. As with all collectible coins, the condition of the coin is one of the most important factors. If you have a 1945 wheat penny that's been well preserved and shows little to no signs of wear, you're in luck. That coin could be worth significantly more than its face value. On the other hand, if it's been heavily circulated, you might not see as much return. Coin collectors love uncirculated coins, as they are seen as pristine examples of the original minting process, but it's not just the condition of the coin that determines its value. The mint mark on the coin can also play a huge role. The 1945 wheat penny was produced at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, so if your penny doesn't have one, it was likely minted there. The Denver Mint used a D mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint used an S mint mark. Coins from these two mints can be rarer than their Philadelphia counterparts, especially in certain years. If you've got a 1945 S wheat penny, then you could be holding something truly special, as these coins were often produced in lower quantities, making them more valuable. But here's where things get really interesting. As many of you know, coin errors can dramatically increase the value of a coin. Error coins are unique, and they are often the most highly sought after by collectors. For the 1945 wheat penny, there are several potential errors that could boost its worth. The most famous error associated with this coin is the 1945 double die variety. This occurs when the design on the coin is struck more than once, creating a doubling effect, often on the date or the lettering. This type of error can make a seemingly ordinary coin worth much more. If you're lucky enough to find a 1945 wheat penny with a double die error, you could be looking at a significant boost in value. Another factor to consider is the overall rarity of the coin. While the 1945 wheat penny was produced in large quantities, some versions of the coin, particularly those minted in San Francisco, are harder to find. As the years go by and more coins are lost, damaged, or simply fade from circulation, coins like the 1945 wheat penny become increasingly rare, making them more valuable. But here's the big question: how much is a 1945 wheat penny really worth? Well, if you've been lucky enough to find a 1945 wheat penny in mint condition, or one with a rare mint mark or error, you could be holding a coin worth significantly more than just a few cents. In fact, a 1945 wheat penny in perfect condition, especially one from the San Francisco Mint or with a double die error, can be worth as much as $99,000. Yes, that's right, $99,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something so small and unassuming could hold so much value, but that's the magic of coin collecting. Each coin has its own unique story and potential, and the 1945 wheat penny is no exception. Whether you're just getting started with collecting or you're a seasoned pro, this coin is definitely one to keep an eye on. So, the next time you're sifting through your change or digging through your coin jar, take a closer look at that 1945 wheat penny. It might just be the one you've been searching for, and who knows, it could be worth $99,000. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed learning about the 1945 wheat penny and all the potential it holds for collectors. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more exciting coin content. Until next time, happy hunting, and may you find your next rare and valuable treasure in your pocket change.